Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now if you've seen my review video for Battle for Azeroth, one thing that I do have an issue with this expansion is the external world and its content. But one thing that I don't have a problem with are dungeons. I think dungeons in Battle for Azeroth are some of the best dungeons that I've ever seen in the World of Warcraft, apart from the Motherlode. But we might discuss that later on in the vid. Now, in my review video, I said there were 8 dungeons. That is actually incorrect. There are 8 regular dungeons, but there are also 2 mythic only dungeons which get unlocked through attunements. One of them is the dungeon which I'm going to show you today, which is King's Rest. And you unlock this by doing a quest chain once you've progressed your 7th Legion rep for the Alliance and the corresponding for the Horde. Now, the atal'dazar dungeon entrance is just down below. But if you go up the right-hand side, the snicket that you've seen me go up, and follow it round, then the atal'dazar dungeon exists physically in the zone. I love it when Blizzard do that, and particularly with this dungeon, because I think atal'dazar is one of the greatest dungeons I've ever been in, from an aesthetic viewpoint. I think the troll architecture is sublime, and so to do a dungeon with it is fantastic. Oh, by the way, that Void Tear, take that Alliance, it'll take you back to the Dark Iron Dwarf starting area. So how do you get to the King's Rest dungeon? Well, just follow this through and get right to what would be the final boss area of atal'dazar, and hey presto, here we are. So I got a group of people together, we came inside King's Rest, and I gotta say, right from the start, we were not disappointed with how good this dungeon actually was. So the first boss is a really clever balance between good DPS and also good positioning of the boss by the tank. Every so often, the boss will spawn in these ooze. If the ooze touch the boss, they'll apply a shield to it, obviously making it harder to kill. So the DPS have to defeat the ooze ASAP, and the tank has to move the boss away from the ooze so it gives the DPS a good period of time with which to do so. However, the ooze come in at regular intervals, so if you don't turn your focus as a DPS to the ads and defeat them, more and more will come in, making it harder for the tank to move the boss around without the ooze touching it. Inevitably, there'll be too much shield applied to the boss, and you're just going to have to wipe. On top of that, it chucks out some spittle onto the floor, which you have to avoid. Nothing too dramatic there. However, it does really hurt if you touch it, so healers do have to be mindful of whether or not people get hit by that as well. Quite a good boss, thoroughly enjoyed it, but one thing that I definitely was taking into consideration while doing these bosses was how is it going to appear in Mythic Plus? You get an idea of what to expect, but just how difficult will it be when you're adding +1, +2, +3, etc, etc. Now, the second boss wasn't that difficult. There weren't a whole load of mechanics in the fight, but that didn't stop it from being a whole load of fun. And again, during the Mythic Plus procedure, you can see this one turning into a DPS race. The boss will start to spread fire throughout the floor. When you see it, obviously stand in it. No, wait. Don't stand in the fire. That's the one. Don't stand in it. And then every now and again, the boss will select one of the party members and encase them in one of the tombs surrounding the battlefield. In this case, it was me on both occasions. If you are encased, then you will be given a singular button to press. Wiggle! And you will wiggle your sarcophagus from side to side, giving a big hint as to which one you are actually stuck in. If your party members click the wrong sarcophagus, then it's going to release an ad into the fight, and that's going to cause problems. If they can see you wiggling, and if they click you, you return back into the fight. Not that much going on here. Obviously, the fire spreading across the floor means that it's constant movement, but good fun. I did enjoy, and like I said, I think this one's going to turn into a nice DPS race when Mythic Plus really starts hitting home. Now, we're just on our way towards the third boss, and I got to give a shout out here to CC. I love you, brah. I miss you. I miss you. Now, the third boss is a council fight that's made up of 3 separate bosses, but they'll come at you one at a time. The first one is a witch doctor. Every so often, they'll attempt to do a poison nova, interrupt it, make sure that you absolutely do, and then once in a while, he'll throw some totems around the battlefield. Make sure that you get onto them and destroy them ASAP. They won't cause that many problems, but they'll give you a healer something to do, and they could interrupt spell casting if you're not careful. Once they've been dispatched, a second boss will come in, a headhunter, and they'll start throwing loads of spinning axes around the battleground. If you're struck by one of these axes, you'll get knocked back a little bit, but also take bleed damage. So try to avoid them wherever possible. But the first boss will suddenly reappear and attempt to do their poison nova again. Make sure once more you interrupt them. Once the headhunter has been taken care of, the third and final boss comes in, which is very squishy indeed, so can be burnt down pretty quickly. They'll focus on a person and then they'll barrel roll over to their location. That's pretty much all that they do. But throughout the course of the fight, the headhunter will once more appear to spin some more axes, and also the witch doctor will appear to attempt to do the poison nova, so dealing with those accordingly. Once again, not too difficult a fight on regular Mythic, but you can see the potential when the Mythic Plus comes into place. That is the key to this video. I think I'm harping on about it every single boss fight. And the fourth and final boss is pretty busy boss fight, to say the least. You certainly utilize the battlefield that is presented to you, and there's lots of stuff to be mindful about. These whirlwinds, for instance, don't let them hit you. On top of that, every so often the boss will actually get on top of a raptor, or another raptor will just come in and help the boss fight as a separate entity. Make sure you kill those ads off as well. Then he'll cover the floor in an area that he's moving in, and if you get caught in it, it's going to hit you for lots of damage. So there's movement, avoiding, but it's, again, if you just pay a little bit of attention to what is going on, you should get through it pretty reasonably. I can see this one, though, proving to be much more of a challenge when it comes to Mythic Plus. On top of that, there is the potential for this boss to drop the Raptor mount as well, the equivalent of the Horde's Collector edition version of the Raptor, apart from it's got more muted colours. The Collector's edition one was very vibrant. So, there you go, King's Rest, one of the Mythic Only Dungeons here in Battle for Azeroth. Bloody brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. It's a quality dungeon. Well put together. Looks absolutely gorgeous. The fights are good fun, and you can really see the potential once the difficulty levels start coming into effect. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. No, I didn't get a single piece of loot throughout the whole dungeon. You take care. Bye for now.